We came all the way to Whistler so I could test out this gimbal. This is the RS3 Mini. It's a much smaller version of any of their previous gimbals that they have. Fits in the bag really easy, and we're gonna play about with it, see what kind of shots we can get and test some of its features. Got the FX3 on here with the 24-70 f2.8 GM Mark II with the Sony ECM B1M. This will also balance an A7S III as well. This will break down and fit into most camera bags. It can go on the side really easy. On the Peter McKinnon 35 here, it will go in the front, no problem whatsoever. It really is a travel-friendly gimbal that you can take with you when you go on a trip and come somewhere like this and don't want to bring something a little bit bigger. Now, if for whatever reason you wanted to vlog with a gimbal, this is going to be your best option now, just because it's the smallest one that will carry most 16-35s, 16-35 f4 power zoom, 24-70 with an FX3, A7S III. Right now we're actually shooting at 24, so this is how that looks with the 24-70 f2.8 GM Mark II. So if having the smoothest possible vlog footage you can get is your priority, this is probably what you want to look at. So this gimbal is a bit different to balance than what you're used to, but if you have balanced a gimbal before and you feel pretty confident doing it, you'll understand pretty quickly how to do it. I'm gonna show you a sequence now of how to balance this.
So we've got the 24-70 Sony G Master Mark II on here with the FX3, and I'm gonna show you how to balance on the RS3 Mini. So you can see right here, it's not balanced in the slightest. So this is how I personally do it. So first things first, I put the camera up like this, and I see which way it's falling. So it's falling this way, which means we need to adjust right here. So we're going to loosen off this little lever. So it's going this way, which means we need to push it this way. So we do that by pushing it this way ever so slightly. It's going to be hard to show you on the camera at the same time of doing it, but we will try. It's still going that way, so a little bit more. And there you go. You see how it doesn't move now? So that's good. So we can now lock that one off. So lock that. Now I'll put the camera this way so we can see it's falling forwards, which means the camera needs to go back this way. So to do that, we need to adjust right here. So loosen this off, falling forwards, so the camera has to move backwards, just ever so slightly. Tiny adjustments, because you'll probably go too far. That's pretty good, it's not moving now. So now we're gonna lock this one back off right there. Now obviously the camera is falling drastically this way, so it's severely off balance. So we got to adjust this right here. So if it was falling this way, it means we need to move the camera this way. So we do that by loosening right here, loosen that off, and then push it ever so slightly that way. Now, of course, you could lock these and do it that way, but I'm just kind of holding them to show you how to do it. So it's still moving a bit left, your left, camera left, a bit more, and that's pretty good. So now we can lock that one off right there. Then the final one is this axis right on the bottom here. Now the way to tell if this is off balance or not is to turn the gimbal from side to side like that, and you can see it's very aggressively moving fast, so that's completely off balance. So we're going to loosen right here and bring this back a little bit. We'll see how that impacts it. It's a little bit better, so it needs to go further. So now we're going to bring this back a bit more. There we go. So now you can see it's not really moving as fast, so that's pretty balanced. So now what we can do is we can just put the camera in a position like that, and it will stay there, which means it is pretty much balanced. So now we can go ahead and turn it on the side here. And once it's on, you want to calibrate it. To calibrate, you're gonna wanna click the button, yeah, that one right there, and then click Start Calibration. That's just gonna make sure that the motors are basically putting out the right amount of power to make sure the gimbal stays balanced. And then once it's calibrated, you're good to go. That is how you balance the RS3 Mini.
Another really nice thing with this is that you can switch it to a vertical mode where the camera will now be vertical for Instagram, for TikTok or whatever, with no extra accessories. Let's actually jump now to show you how you can swap this from the mode we're in right now to vertical mode.
So to go from horizontal to your vertical mode, very straightforward. Loosen off this red lever right here, and on the back, push and hold this button here, and then you can slide that whole plate directly off of the gimbal, which has the camera attached to it. From here, you want to actually take this part off, so just loosen that off and then slide it down. It'll get to the bottom, and there's a lock there. I'll show you that right there. If you just click and hold that to one side, you can then pull that directly off. You then just take your plate, and this slides directly on the top, like so. So we're in vertical mode, but but we do need to rebalance it. So to show you that, I'm gonna lock that axis right there, and I'm gonna make sure all these levers are locked, just so there's no unnecessary movement. So now, the gimbal is falling forwards, so we're gonna loosen this lever here, and that allows me to control the forwards and backwards movement of the gimbal. So if it's falling backwards, now we need to push it forwards ever so slightly. Falling forwards. That's pretty good. So now we can lock, where are you? I can't see it. Lock that off there. Now, in terms of this axis here, let's see how the camera moves. So it's moving a little bit to your left, so we're gonna move it a little bit to the right. A bit too far. Back the other way. Pretty good there, okay. So now we're gonna lock these all off so we don't get any unnecessary movement, so we can do this last axis here. Okay, and then finally, actually we're pretty good. Well, we could maybe a little bit off. Loosen that a little bit, push that in. There you go, so now we are fully balanced in vertical mode. Now obviously I had the screen closed there, but you could of course have that flipped around the other way or have it out if you wanted to as well.
So we've been shooting best part of an hour now. I've had the gimbal on literally since we left, just because it's easy to leave it on. How's the battery at? Like 70 something?
69.
69%, so it's pretty good. Had it on for an hour, walking around, and now we're just taking some shots of this mountain. This is the first time we've actually had a view of the mountain since we've been here because of the clouds.
You want to do a follow shot? I can go down here and you can go along with it.
You got your traditional touchscreen on here that you're used to. Screen is a little bit of a newer design in terms of the menu layout, so you can quickly access things that you need to access.
The RS3 Mini in portrait mode actually comes in at 0.795 kilograms, and if you're shooting in landscape or horizontal, it comes in at 0.85 kilograms. It's actually only half the weight of the RS3 Pro, and at the time I was shooting this video, it is the first lightweight stabilizer that supports full frame mirrorless cameras with a zoom lens like the 24-70.
That was a big letdown. The other one was way better.
It has all the regular modes that you're used to, and to control which mode you're in, you tap on the little button in the corner just here. When you tap on that, it gives you access to the follow modes. So you have pan follow, pan tilt follow, FPV mode, a custom mode that you can assign, and your 3D roll 360, which is the one where you can, yes, do the crazy vortex spins if you wanted to. By tapping the M button there, it will take you between 3 different assignable modes, M1, 2, and 3, which you can set up to whatever you want. And then something else to pay attention to here to get the smoothest possible shot is your follow speed, right here. I personally use everything set to slow. I just find it the smoothest for all of my shots. A swipe down from the top of the touchscreen there will get you into some options. You can actually turn on Bluetooth, which then allows you to pair it with your camera, your FX3, your A7SIII, and a bunch of other cameras, and you have Bluetooth shutter control. So I can tap the record button on the gimbal and it will actually trigger record on the camera directly, much like you had on the RS3 and the RS3 Pro. If you wanted to, on the side of the gimbal right there, you do have access to a NATO rail that you could put a handle on if you wanted to. You got the dial on the front as standard, your trigger there, double tap of the trigger will get you out of whatever mode you're into, put the camera back to basically facing forwards. Power button on the side, USB-C port on the side there for charging. Joystick is normal, nothing unfamiliar. So this is gonna be the perfect gimbal for you if you're looking for something that's very lightweight to balance your mirrorless camera with very common setups. It did exactly what it needed to do, which was give me my smooth shots, not be too heavy, balance the setup I wanna balance, and travel with a gimbal that previously I would have had to bring something like the RS3. That's all I've got for you in today's video. Thank you DJI for sending this through, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.